Okay, so you guys should have just spent the last 15-20 minutes working through these problems on your own. And so now I want you guys to go over, I want to go over them with you guys so you know what the right answers are. And if you had any questions on any of them, at least you know what the right answers are. Okay, so here we go. So the first problem says this. Okay, the scale from a building to this drawing is 9 feet to 1 centimeter. The scale from the same building to another drawing is 3 feet to 1 centimeter. What are the dimensions of the building in the other scale drawing? So here's what this means. It means that, sorry, I had to get my paper. Wait. All right, I'm back. Okay, what this means is that basically, so, and this happens all the time, especially in architecture, people will make a scale drawing and they visually see what they want it to look like in real life, but then they have to shrink it, maybe to take it to another meeting and show other people. So a lot of times people construct a lot of different scale drawings of a lot of different things. So the very first step that we have to do is we have to find out what the actual dimensions of this building are. Keyword right here. We know that it is, whoa, that's a really big bubble. We know that the first scale is 9 feet to every 1 centimeter. So to find the actual dimensions, we're going from this scale drawing to the actual size, right? So when you go from a scale drawing to the actual size, you're going to multiply by the scale factor. So the scale factor is 9 feet to 1 centimeter. So our scale factor is 9. Okay. So that means for every 1 centimeter on here is 9 feet in real life. Okay. So here we go. To find the actual dimensions, we're going to go 6 times 9 is 54. So that means that the actual length of the building is 54 feet. Then we're down here, we're going to go 3 times 9, which is 27. So the actual size of this building is 27 feet. But we're not done yet, because that's not what the question's asking. Okay. All right, just a second. Let me see if I can. It's not going to let me shrink this up. So, all right, moving on. So now I know that, let me go through and draw this. I don't have very much room on my page. So here's what I know. The actual is 54 feet by 27 feet. But now I'm making a new drawing, a scale drawing. So now I'm going from the actual, whoops, sorry. Going from the actual down to a new scale drawing. So remember, when you're going from the big actual down to a scale drawing, you are going to divide by the scale factor, right? So now if you look at this, our new scale factor to this new drawing is 3 feet to 1 centimeter. So 3 feet for every 1 centimeter. So our scale factor is just plain old 3. So what we're going to do is we are going to take 20 to get our new length. We're going to go 27 divided by 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote that in the wrong spot. Hold on. So we're going to go 27 divided by 3 for this side and 54 divided by 3 for this side. So this comes out to be 9, and it's labeled in centimeters. And this side right here is going to be 54 divided by 3 is 18 centimeters. So the dimensions of the new drawing are 9 centimeters by 18 centimeters. That's what you guys should have gotten for number 1. Okay, so sorry, I had to pause that really quick while my students were taken off. So again, so what you should have gotten is, remember the process. We went from the scale drawing to the actual, then from the actual down to a new scale drawing. So we had 2 different steps in order to get there. Okay, so here we go. We're moving on to number 2. Let me erase this and move down. Here we go. So here's what we know about this one. Okay, this one has dimensions of 5 inches for the length and 3 inches for the width. And here's what we know. This is a scale. This right here is the drawing. It says that the scale from a statue to this drawing is 10 yards to 1 inch. So the first scale that we have is 10 yards to 1 inch. Okay, so our scale factor would be what? What would our scale factor be? Hopefully you guys knew that it was just plain old 10. Okay, so what that means is for every 1 inch on here is actually 10 feet in real life. Every 1 inch on here is 10 yards. Sorry, I said feet, I think. 10 yards in real life. So remember, when you're going from a drawing to the actual size, you're going to multiply by the scale factor. So when you go from a drawing to the actual, you multiply by the scale factor. So here we go. Okay. So sorry, I know this is not up to par, but this is what it's got to be. So this right here would be 5, which is how many inches, times the scale factor. So this is now 50 yards. Down here, it's 3 inches times our scale factor. So that is 30 yards. So our actual size of this statue is 30 by 50. Okay, or 30, our base is 30 and our height is 50. All right, so let me draw that on here. A little bit different. And I apologize, this is obviously not to scale, but go with it. So this is 50 yards by 30 yards. Okay. All right. Now. Oh, I forgot. It's not going to let me do that. Now we're going to go from the actual size of this right here to another drawing. And our scale that we're going to use for this is 8 yards to 1 inch. So what that means is for every 8 yards on here is equivalent to 1 inch on our new drawing. For every 8 yards on here is 1 inch on our new drawing. So remember, when you go from the actual to the drawing, it is dividing by your scale factor. Okay, so next, let's find our scale factor. If our scale is 8 yards to 1 inch, our scale factor, sorry, glitchy, come on, is plain old 8. So here's what we're going to do. Here's our new drawing. We're going to go 50 divided by 8 for this side and 30 divided by 8 for this side. So I'm going to have the help of my handy dandy calculator. And you guys remember, can use your calculators too, because I'm not grading you if you can divide numbers. I'm seeing if you guys can find your new dimensions. So 50 divided by 8 comes out to be, I'm going to change colors. 6 and 25 hundredths of an inch. So that's what this new height would be. Okay, come on. Next one, 30 divided by 8 comes out to be 3 75/100 of an inch. So your new dimensions, this on your new scale drawing is 6 25/100 of an inch by as your height, and your base is 3 75/100. So again, same process. To go from the drawing to the actual, we multiplied by the first scale factor. To go from the actual down to the new drawing, we used our second scale and got our scale factor. And we had to divide. Okay. All right. So that is your answer for number 2. Let's move on to number 3. Okay. Number 3. Now we're this, and again, I cannot stress this enough to you guys. This is legit. A lot of contractors and construction people and architects, they might have to make several different scale drawings of something depending on what they need it for and how they want to view it. So this is a house. Is that not the coolest shape of a house ever? Go with it. Just go with it. All right, so the scale from a house to this blueprint is 25 feet to 5 inches. So what that means is that for every 5 inches on here is 25 feet. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that scale first. Well, let's finish this first. Sorry. Okay. Then the scale from the same house to another blueprint is 10 feet to 1 inch. What are the dimensions of the new blueprints? So remember, what we have to do here is we're going to find the actual dimensions of the house. And once we find the actual dimensions, we're going to use our new scale to find what the new dimensions on my scale drawing would be. Now, here's the first problem that we have. Our scale is 25 feet to 5 inches, right? So to find our scale factor, it's 25/5, right? Because remember, this is one way to write a ratio, but this is another way to write a ratio. And I want you to write the scale factors as fractions. So what's 25 divided by 5? 5. So what's your scale factor? 5. So what that means is that for every 5 feet on the actual house comes from 1 inch on this drawing. So if you think about it, this is 10 inches. So 1 inch, that's 5 feet. Another inch, that's 5 feet, and so on and so on and so on. Same thing with that. So now that I know what my scale factor is, now I'm going to go ahead and go from this drawing to my actual blueprint house, my actual house. And to do that, we're going to multiply by the scale factor by 5. Okay, so here is what the actual house is going to look like. This is 10 inches times our scale factor. So this comes out to be 50 feet. All right, this side right here is 8 inches times our scale factor. So really, that side is 40 feet. Okay, so that's what the actual dimensions of the house are. Okay, but now it's our job to make a new scale drawing of this house. And our new dimensions are 10 feet for every 1 inch. So what that means is for every 10 feet on here is going to be equivalent to 1 inch on my new scale drawing. So if you really think about this, I could break this up into 4 sections, right? 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, and each one is 1 inch. So I bet you can imagine what my new scale drawing is going to look like, right? But I want to walk you through how to do this mathematically as well. So we are now going from our actual to a drawing. And if you guys remember, we're not going to multiply by the scale factor. We're going to divide by the scale factor. And our scale is 10 feet to 1 inch, right? 10 to 1. So our scale factor is just plain old 10. Okay? So here we go. Let's go back. So our actual dimensions, here's my actual, sorry, that's my actual house, is 50 feet, and this is 40 feet. So here's my new scale drawing. So I'm going to go 50 divided by the scale factor of 10, and this comes out to be 5 inches. Okay, this is 40 divided by 10. So this is 4 inches. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, why do we have to go through it? I just don't get it. All right. But you have to remember, all right, when you have similar things, the only reason that they're similar is because all of the ratios are equivalent. They're equivalent ratios. So if you look at this, 10/8, 50/40, 5/4, okay, all of these are equivalent. So if you just go through and do your own stuff, chances are those ratios of the length and the width will not be similar to what the actual one is or what the new drawing is. So they all have to be equivalent. And if you think about it, 5/10, oh, that reduces down to 4/5 or 5/4. 50/40, oh, that reduces down to 5/4. So these are all equal. All right, so this is what your answer should have been. All right, last but certainly not least. All right, the scale. So this right here is 4.5 inches, and this is 2.5 inches. The scale from the playground to this drawing is 5 feet to 1 centimeter. The scale from the same playground to another drawing is 8 feet to 1 centimeter. What are the side lengths of the playground on the other scale drawing? So here we go. I have a little bit more room now, yay go us, right? Let me scroll this down a little bit. Okay, all right. So this right here again was 4 inches, and this side was 2.5 inches. Okay, so we're gonna first change this to what the actual dimensions of this playground are. Okay, so this is my first scale factor, or my first scale. My first scale is for every 5 feet is 1 inch. So every 1 inch on here is 5 feet in actual, in the actual playground. So therefore my scale factor is 5. So let's find out what the actual drawing looks, or the actual playground looks like. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go 4 times the scale factor. So this comes out to be 20 feet. Okay? Because you take what the side was on the drawing and multiply by the scale factor. Same here. You're going to take the side length, times it by the scale factor, and this becomes, oh my goodness, my head. Why am I having an issue? Sorry. Oh, probably because if you look at this, I made a mistake. That's why it wasn't working. My scale factor is 5. Silly Mrs. Parkin. All right, so times 5, and this comes out to be 12.5 feet. Okay, so that's what the actual playground dimensions are. But now we have to make a scale drawing of this. So this is the actual, and we're going to make a new drawing using this scale factor. So this scale factor is for every 8 feet on here is 1 centimeter on my drawing. So my scale factor is 8. And when you go from the actual down to a drawing, you're going to divide. So here's my new drawings, right? So we're going to go 20 divided by 8 for this side and 12 and a half divided by 8 for that side. So let's see what we get. So 20 divided by 8 comes out to be 2 5/10 of a centimeter. Okay, this one, 12 5/10 divided by 8 comes out to be 5,625 10,000ths of a centimeter. Okay, so we did it. Good job. Good job. Good job. Hopefully you guys had several of those answers. Oh, it might help if you guys could actually see the rest of the work on there. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so this is what I was working on down here. Okay. I'm very, very hopeful that you guys got those answers. And tomorrow, just to let you guys know, so you're going to turn these in before you leave class today. Tomorrow we're going to have a guest. So I need you guys, when you guys come in here, you need to be on your very, 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 very best behavior. All right. Let's see, there's one more thing. Oh, tomorrow we're going to start our review because I postponed the quiz until Monday because we really do need to talk about a couple more things before you guys are quizzed on this. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.